Greetings comic lovers and welcome back to Casually Comics, the channel where we chat all things comics, from reviews of comics new and old to history to anecdotes to really wherever our whims take us. Today, Gwenpool Strikes Back number 3, The Roller Coaster. Cause well, that's what it was for me. This issue had the most jokes in it that I liked, but simultaneously had the page that I hated the most. A page of localized misinformation that sent me into a tailspin so deep, I may still be in it. I'll keep you posted. Today, it's the swimsuit issue, and it's doing all of the things, and we're gonna talk about most of them. So I won't meander here too long, but I will ask you to hit that like button if you love going on tangents, because we're about to go on one. It's one of my favorite things. Issue 3, let's go. The cover is a swimsuit pinup with the Hulk, which if you enjoy, which I do, the cover art again is gorgeous. Also remember from the last issue that Gwenpool, or at least her writer, Leah Williams, thinks it's a gross ploy needed to bait in fans, and she's judging you. Gwenpool is 19, how dare you? No, I'm not over anything from last issue, nor should I be, because this issue starts off pretty much where that one left off. For those who missed our last video, firstly, how dare you? Secondly, go watch it. Thirdly, it ended with Deadpool pointing a gun at Gwenpool after learning she had unmasked his beloved Spidey. They've escaped the confines of Reed, and I mean that literally. They were inside his body, made like a ball to keep them in. So Gwenpool is introducing herself as she flees. There's a lot of scratched out dialogue boxes, probably cursing because we still can't show that. We're not that edgy. Welcome back, true believers. Some of the letters here are scratched out, and I have no idea why. I'll admit to that. If you're hipper than me and know why, please share down below. I like to be in the loop. Still, all of that matters less than how she escapes, which is by leaping out of the storyboard of artist of this issue, David Baldeón, while he was writing this issue, and making it rain down on Reed, Sue, and Deadpool. All that wacky meta coffee must have been lukewarm, because people just react with, ugh, ugh, coffee, where'd it come from, and not with, screams of agony as it burns their skin off. Deus ex barista, baby. I don't hate that line. I actually wish Gwenpool had said it, but they gave it to Deadpool, cause why not? Now comes one of those odd panels that trapped me, so I will share. Baldeón says, and forgive my accent, there are several years between me and my fluency in Spanish. Vayamos el chiringuito por hoy. The text box says, that's my guess for that Spanish for they don't pay me enough for this. Only it's not, cause I checked. Because I'm that person. It's actually Spanish for direct translation, okay, we closed the beach bar for today. So then I was like, okay, well then why not put the actual Spanish for what she's saying? Or is the joke that Gwenpool can't speak Spanish? Or is this some kind of slang that I'm not familiar with? Because slangs often don't translate directly. So then I went down this hole looking for slang, and as near as I could tell it wasn't, but I did find some Dominican beach slang that I will never use, so that's great. And then I thought maybe it's in theme, like thematically that could just mean that I've had enough of this and I'm done for the day. And then I had the revelation that, oh, haha, it's a throwaway joke, and I just spent so much time researching it for nothing, probably. She frazzled her artist. Like Daffy Duck. That overanalyzing is a trait I've come to embrace in myself, and I hope that you come to embrace it too, because it's not going anywhere. Deadpool has joined Gwenpool in her white space, somehow, and he's made her a flowchart on a page that is actually pretty funny about who would like Gwenpool and why you should read her versus Deadpool. There were lots of little details that made the whole flowchart worth reading. But then Deadpool starts lecturing her about how sales matter. And there's an undercurrent here that may be missed if you're not up to date on current comic book culture and some of the little arguments that are going on within it vis-a-vis sales, and how people perceive sales and how important they are / aren't or should / shouldn't be. There is a debate over how sales numbers are accurate or inaccurate vis-a-vis who's actually reading versus copies sold. Some feel that numbers speak for themselves, while others feel that they do but need to be analyzed, because of course statistics can be tweaked to mean what you want if you're clever. That's called spinning. And others feel that looking at sales is an unfair method of trying characters and means that some characters end up being canceled before they get their due and that they don't get a chance. The vibe from this comic is definitely the latter. My hair is trying to escape. It's new hair. Ooh. But again, we're not going to linger here because the comic doesn't. Deadpool implies that her numbers are up, which is an actuality we can't check now, but I will because they put this in my head, so I'm going to check for next time. And he claims that it's because people thought that he was going to shoot her in the last issue, so there was excitement. You had to buy to look because, oh my god, is she going to be shot? But we all knew that she wasn't actually going to be shot, right? Especially not with her ability to retcon anything. She is in no canonical peril at all. She can escape at any time. They haven't established yet that she can't. The only danger she's in is of being retconned or erased, which is this kind of existential meta concern, but not a textual narrative one. It's actually very ironic. The medium she inhabits can't hurt her because of her position outside of it, because of her character's given canonical backstory. Gwenpool goes over her numbers and finds that she sells better when she's bad. So she decides that that's the route she's going to take. Road, whatever. She's forging onwards. So she hatches a plot to get a bunch of heroes to an island, all in swimsuits, because she's crafted a fake sick kids make a wish thing, where the kids' last wish was to see all heroes have a swimsuit volleyball match. See? That's actually really funny, and it only took us to page 8 of 25 to get there. Plot. There's also a funny She-Hulk joke. This is with the more hulky She-Hulk post the whole right to be ugly thing, which is a whole other discussion for another time. But Gwen has a text bubble that reads, "Look, this is how Jen is in comics right now. Don't at me." So basically skipping over the whole controversy in a blasé manner of text speak or Twitter. I enjoyed it, and I just over-explained it and said text speak. Greetings, fellow youths. We then have some shipping jokes with Gwenpool looking at, thirsting over Captain America and Bucky, who are standing next to each other. She's telling them how good they look. For those not up on what shipping is, let me quickly Cliff Notes explain. This is the process of pairing characters together romantically, though it doesn't have to be, but most often is. These pairings are oftentimes non-canonical, meaning that they're not happening in the canon text, though again they can be. You can support a canon pairing, but within fandom you'll more often than not find non-canonical pairings. They will oftentimes be queer in nature because dominant pairings within media itself tend to be heterosexual. So what she's talking about right here is Stucky, the pairing of Captain America and Bucky Barnes together, and that is a huge pairing within the Marvel fandom, though it is actually more of an MCU fandom phenomenon, meaning that it emerged from within the MCU because it's there that Captain America and Bucky's relationship is really hammered home in a way that many people were attached to and drawn to. Some even feel that Bucky is Captain America's true character motivation for several films. Until the last one, where he gets to say his goodbye off screen. Till the end of the line. In the comics, initially, Stony was bigger, that being the pairing of Steve Rogers and Tony Stark, and this occurred after Civil War, the comic book Civil War, now known as Civil War I because there are two. This event saw their friendship, because they were best friends, completely shattered, destroyed for drama. So because of that, a lot of fans tried to fix it, most often with fan fiction stories, and this led to a lot of pairing. Stucky incorporates some comic elements, but again tends to be more film-based. So if you're a fan of the MCU, you probably recognize what was going on here. If you didn't, you're welcome, or I'm sorry, depending upon how you felt about that. Also, if you saw that hashtag give Captain America a boyfriend, because that was a thing for a while, because some shippers want it to be canon, and some don't, because we're a varied bunch. Miss Marvel pulls her away. She's a big fangirl of heroes in canon. It's a trait. And it varies in how it's written and portrayed from writer to writer. Sometimes it's really on point, and sometimes it makes you want to go crawl into a hole and die. And for some people, if you just don't like fangirl culture, that's all the time. Lots of ways to read all the things. She's telling Gwen to go read some fanfic, because it's what she needs, and there's fanfiction for everything. So does that mean that in canon, Kamala reads fics about Steve and Bucky, which I totally believe exist within the Marvel Universe, because she knows them. No boundaries for Miss Marvel. Then, page 10 happened. The page that broke me, the panel in the center that broke me. I said I wasn't the same after the last time, but now I know that was a lie. This even prompted me to community post, and so you know it's serious because I never community post, or almost never, and it's usually just like, look at this comic book cover, I like it. She introduces the heroes she's brought and groups them with quirky titles that you're supposed to relate to. You're supposed to go, yeah, oh my god, nailed it, so accurate, this is totally Marvel. Marvel now. Okay, so the first lineup she calls the varsity lineup, and that one's pretty okay, and is going along with theme, which also leads to the whole, oh, it's going to be accurate thing, because for the most part, these ones can fit into that characterization, what both types of varsity means. Like the popular crew, but also like the jockey crew, also like the big players. They're Tony, Steve, Carol, Thor, and T'Challa. I like that I said all their first names, like I know them. I'm going out for drinks with them later. But then the next group is called the invented for eye candy, but given better character development later crew. And oh boy, it's a good thing I wasn't near a table, because I would have flipped it, no matter how many things were on it. In fact, the more things that were on it, the better. Maybe I could have gotten some things, put them on it, and then flipped it. Firstly, we have to look at the idea of being invented for eye candy, because that implies that people sat down, had a meeting, and were like, do you like cheesecake? cast it out because that's what we're gonna write today. You can make the argument that has often been true that comics can go far too far with eye candy, and some characters have it worse than others. But then you have to follow up with more questions, which many people don't, and this comic certainly doesn't. Some questions like, how much is too much? Is it ever okay? If we're scrapping it, are we scrapping it for everybody? Where is the line when it comes to characters just being traditionally attractive and drawn as such no matter the situation? Cheesecake for many is often a matter of degrees. Also, it tends to be judged differently depending upon who is doing the gazing. For example, why is the mostly chick group eye candy, but not the mostly male group above, despite them all being flawless gods and Gwenpool herself thirsting over them on the prior page? Is it because they're more likely to be looked at by males than females? Though again, that's not necessarily a guarantee, but it could be. That could be a generalized statement that we're making. And are we looking too much at overall societal components, or are we not looking at them enough? If so, does that matter? And does that track with the evolution of current portrayals? Or is this anger over the fact that over-sexualization has ever happened at all? But oh wait, I didn't even tell you who was on the list. Let's meet the players. So we're gonna look at these characters, many of whom have actual interviews about the history of why they were created, such as Spider-Woman, Jessica Drew, who we've done a video on, who was literally created for copyright to stop DC from putting their own version of Spider-Woman in the Batman/Tarzan Adventure Hour. She also happens to be hot. She-Hulk, created because Marvel and Stan Lee caught wind that the Hulk TV series was planning on introducing a character of the same name, so beat them to the punch, and who oftentimes has been very sexualized. But what's often missing in those discussions is the context. A lot of those panels or covers were actually directly relating to things that were going on at the time. And she was also used as a tool to challenge the Comics Code Authority. Mileage varies on whether you felt they went too far or not, or whether you feel it was an effective means of doing so. But it wasn't just entirely pointless. Then we have Black Cat, who was originally supposed to be a villain for Spider-Woman, but was moved to Spider-Man after the writers left that book and took her with them. And she became a totally not Catwoman love interest for Spidey, so some will feel that counts. Then we have Tigra, who was initially introduced as the Cat as part of a series that was actually directly aimed at a female audience. The series would flop and she would find herself being recreated as Tigra. Then we have Black Widow, who is so different in her first appearance few would even recognize her. Atlas, who looks pretty much like every other male character, so if he's here, they should all jump down too. They are posing the men in the panels every which way all the time. And in fact, if you look at old ads that used to run in comics, that was part of it. They were playing on self-esteem. Half of the ads in old comics are just like, hey you weakling, you pathetic 90-pound pencil neck geek. Do you want chicks to go out with you? Well, you know what would help? If you bought this thing or this workout book or whatever in the side panel that can make you look like the people in this comic book. Everybody feels bad about themselves. Yay, what a motivational speech. But my favorite here has to be Jessica Jones. That's right, Jessica Jones, who was introduced in Alias #1, the first story on Marvel's Max imprint, an adult imprint that they were running for their more, risque out there stories. More thematically mature. She was introduced in a story about her recovery after her time with the Purple Man and being beaten into a coma by the superhero community. It was a story of survival and recovery. Eye candy. Hilarious! Why am I so bothered? Well, for a couple of reasons. Let me share them with you. Gwen is supposed to be a comic book superfan, hence she is supposed to have more knowledge about comics than just your average fan, and it's supposed to be coming from the real world, our world. Why did I put quotes around ours like we're in the simulation? So she should know that a lot of what she said isn't accurate. Having a discussion about whether you think that these characters are being exploited or drawn too sexy is far different than saying they were invented to be eye candy. This furthers and will further the narrative that comics are this horrible, hostile landscape for females and female readers who are only ever used or created to be props. And some just won't look further into that than this and will just accept this as the truth because it's coming from within a Marvel comic. The issue is much more nuanced than that. Sometimes it's true and sometimes it's not. It's complicated and it can't be reduced down to a single throwaway sentence like that. It reduces the topic and actually does it a disservice by making it seem so simplistic. It also misinforms and biases people and ultimately leads to more fandom strife. And point. The next row. Oh yes, there's one more row. We're not done yet. This is the popular with young readers but bewildering to older readers gang. Such bewildering characters to us old fogies as Miles Morales, introduced in 2011. Basically, it assumes that a lot of older readers don't get Legacy or these newer characters, and that some of these characters who are less popular, because some of them are admittedly less popular than others, although some of that again is time, but it's assumed that it's because older readers are just a bunch of haters. Old men yelling at clouds. Stop it. They're staying on your lawn. I mean, Squirrel Girl is here. Squirrel Girl. She's been around for a long time, but recently has had her entire character changed, which some older fans find perplexing as to why, which is understandable. This happens whenever a character shifts, and also there's a discussion to be had about being attached to the versions of characters that you know. That's a natural occurrence. Happens to everybody, young or old. This row was honestly okay, but even so, it was a little iffy. It's just not the row above it. It felt more fun and more jokey, or maybe I'm just burnt out. Why so mad, you ask? Well, because I love comics and I hate misinformation about them, especially in an era where there seems to be more misinformation about them out there than ever, even though it's easier to access information about them than ever. I've already seen 2 articles talking about how accurate this was, and it was a bold takedown of eye candy. That was 2 articles too many. Yes, Queen, Gwenpool takes down all eye candy. So this comic had a plot, right? Yeah, it did. Let's get to it. Gwen becoming a character, that was a thing we were doing, right? So Gwen reveals that the child in need is her, which is admittedly funny. I know, I just figured out what it is about this whole concept that is rubbing me the wrong way. It's the fact that the whole premise of this, her getting these characters to the beach, scantily clad so that they can fight each other, that tells the point of eye candy thematically without anything having to be said. It's subtle, but Gwenpool's not subtle, and that's fair. I mean, Gwenpool's never been subtle, but still, just, you know, throwing it out there. So she tells them that they have to fight for their right to show themselves why she's a credible threat, for gathering them all together and making them fight. She didn't think about it too hard. Here's a page where they're all called admittedly funny nicknames, and it made me laugh and smile. I'm not joking, I love this page. Like Tony Stark, Mr. Roboho, Disaster Capitalist. This page is like the anti-page 10 for me. It made me laugh out loud with T'Challa as King Kitty. And yet at the same time, even as I was reading it, I knew that this was the page that would make some people cringe the most. Humor is subjective. Different strokes for different folks. So little sim lights are gonna appear over their heads and tell them who they're matched with, and then they have to fight until one of them is knocked out, and then they're gonna be transported like this safe space with doctors and food and snacks. Tony tests it out and gets himself punched and sent there, where also her friends are, because she didn't make them fight. We then have our first full-fledged use of Gwen's retcon powers, like used exactly how I imagined them. Squirrel Girl asks her, what's the point of fighting? What is the prize? So she says that Tony put up the money and that they're gonna get a huge cash prize, and then uses her retcon ability to make the last words he said in Civil War II, you know, which he died at the end of, sorta kinda, to be that he was giving her money. Set aside a ridiculously massive amount of cash for Gwenpool. Blah. And like a mirage, I saw a vision of what the whole series could have been, and then it was gone. I was left in the desert of Meta-ness. So the young crew all nope out except for Miles and Miss Marvel, under the guise that if Squirrel Girl fought, she'd win anyway. But really it's because those characters were just there so that you knew that they existed, and also so that we could have that whole lineup for that panel. Smart, join my Minecraft server later. I love you, please be my friend. Kids play Minecraft, so Gwenpool plays Minecraft. More than just kids play Minecraft, I know this. It's very popular. No one is fighting, so Gwenpool gets Bruce Banner, who she retconned to have been captured, and shoots him in the head after saying they're all gaslighting her, which is an inaccurate use of that word, furthering its descent from actual term of a thing that people do to buzzword that people just throw out in casual conversation inaccurately. The panel for shooting him is great though. So he hulks out and all the people start fighting as their little sim lights appear above them. They could try and take him down, but no, they'd probably lose anyway. It's better to just fight each other and avoid her lasers. There are lasers. She then proceeds to set up and pose for the cover. But then a light appears over her head and it's matching her with the Hulk. Comic over. That was far shorter than I imagined it was going to be. You're probably like, no it wasn't, it was still too long, I'm unsubscribing. Again, for me it was like all the others we've read so far. I liked the story portion, even though this one took the longest to get to. The meta-ness, some of it worked and some of it was just thrown out there. But again, mileage varies. If this is the type of meta you like, this is going to be for you. You will be living. This one did feel the most like it was contriving or creating its meta panels so that people would be talking about them. Which, I mean, it did. I did. Found a couple of articles, so Yeah, Gwenpool beat me. I've been bested. Still, this is the third issue of a 5-issue mini, and to me at least, it still feels very incohesive. I largely collect trades normally, so I'm trying to figure out how this will feel when I read it all together, and I can't imagine that it will feel like it's really progressing. The whole thread of she needs to exist, for me, has worn thin at this point. It just feels like a lot of unconnected jabs at the comic book industry. Oh man, sexy covers, am I right? Also, yeah, sales and needing them, am I right? I feel like I'm getting the point of this series less, not more, as it goes on. But that's just me. Again, please feel free to disagree. I actually had a really fun discussion in the comments of the live stream I did recently. This was with a viewer, Matthew Kelly, who was telling me all about why he really loves this Gwenpool series, and especially issue 3, and that was fun, which I can totally see, but not experience. Yeah, I don't have much to add that I haven't already said in my other reviews, so if you missed those, check them out. I like Gwenpool, just not here. How about you? I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I appreciate all of you giving me some of your time. I know it's a precious commodity. I'm Sasha, and thanks so much for watching Casually Comics. Please do all of the YouTube things. Like, share, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell notification so that you never miss a vid. I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.